We are live. Welcome to the GainzCast. I'm here with Alan Roberts. What a friggin' great day. So much to discuss. I got it all on my phone right here. There's so much going on here. Never thought we'd see Democrats defending puppy murder and puppy torture. A lot of things that are even beyond my purview, like the pharmacies, like people they can't get ivermectin, which is crazy because I mean, let's be honest, like I've gotten prescriptions before and I've never had the pharmacist be like, are you sure you need that testosterone? Are you sure you need that Z-Pack? Just crazy things going on. You got people still giving a fuck about Dave Chappelle, who's a comedian. Can you imagine Chris Rock trying to do a comedy skit now back in his heyday? Crazy stuff, man. What's going on, Alan? How you doing?
What's up, motherfucker? How are you? I can't do the pharmacy thing is crazy. Name one other drug that like they question the doctor's judgment. But you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like first, like the weird thing about it is if you look into anti-parasitics, which is what ivermectin is marketed as, right? Like there's like plenty of evidence to show that most people would do with an occasional regimen of anti-parasitics just to remove their body, like any parasites are in your body. It's not like it's an uncommon fucking thing. So it's shown safe and effective. The guy that fucking invented it, what, Nobel Peace Prize in 2015, and it's like this demonization. Like I think that's the hardest thing for me, dude. Like I've been trying to think about like what the hardest thing is. The hardest thing is how people are just so willfully fucking ignorant right now. Like if you can't see, like the people that can't see the absolute push of these things and like the demonization of anything that questions shit. Science, to actually have it be science, people, you're supposed to question shit. That's what it's about, right?
Bro, I mean, look, man, I have ivermectin on hand just in case, even though we've already had it. Basically, if my homies need some ivermectin, I got your fucking ivermectin. All right, here's the bottom line, dude. We always, in every pharmaceutical commercial, it's like consult your doctor, consult your doctor, consult your doctor,
Right.
consult your doctor. I have to say consult your doctor before I even tell people to wipe their fucking ass on the internet because it covers my ass legally.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're consulting our doctor, and now the pharmacist is like, nah, fuck your doctor. Nah, it's not doctor. It's got to be Dr. Fauci. And Biden, what's his medical degree? The guy's fucking senile. And fucking this stupid bitch from the fucking CDC, this flip-flopping fucking money-grubbing whore coming in and saying, oh, well, we're going to change this. Oh, kids need to be masked, this and that. It's like, dude, you are a fucking shill for whatever. And every time I see the news, brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Pfizer. Does anybody not see this has nothing to do with health? This has to do with money, 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 and money.
Absolutely.
I used to think they were trying to kill people. Now I don't. Now I think they're going to kill people because they're trying to make money.
It's just money. I mean, and if it get and here's the thing, people, if it does make some people ill, like if it gives them long-lasting effects, they'll create more pharma to deal with long-lasting effects. I posted a video, like, you know, a message from the control group that's gone pretty well on Twitter. But the thing about it is, like, it got picked up by a few other people on TikTok and a few other places. One of the comments that was made, a guy like stitched my video on TikTok, and he made a comment about it. The CDC is about to change the definition of what they consider fully vaccinated, right? Right in time for flu season, which is fucking funny. Right in time for flu season. So anybody that does not get a booster for the Mexican cold beer flu booster, what we're calling. But anyway, anybody that does not get a booster can be seen as not fully vaccinated. So then, if they're not fully vaccinated and they get sick and die because their immune system is shot to fucking hell, so they're going to be listed as a COVID death versus versus anything else, right? So my thing is, how are we changing the definition of all this? Like, that's what the 2020s is. It's all about changing the definitions of words. Like, woman is no longer actually a fucking woman, and man is no longer a fucking man, and vaccines are no longer vaccines, and vaccinated is no longer vaccinated. Like, so why should we buy any of this bullshit? Like, who's? I'm sorry, I just have a hard time believing that people still buy this shit. Like, I really, it's fucking crazy to me.
You know, the problem with this pandemic is they're literally creating pandemics within pandemics. I don't know if you have the source for this because everybody wants sources unless Fauci says it. Unless you have a fake PhD, and you've been working for the government for 400 years. Everybody's like, well, where's your source? I recall reading that the vaccine decreases your immune system by 50% each shot. I don't know where I got that. I can't find the source again. But have you read similar things, Alan?
I've read similar things. I remember there was a news release, and I still have it somewhere, where they said they're not taking plasma transfusions from vaccinated people anymore because it kills off those antibodies from having it, right? But just in relatively very serious terms to people out there, before anybody gets like all up in their feels and shit like that, because me and you tend to make people do that shit.
It happens.
I encourage you all to look around. Like don't just be pissed at me and Mark, and don't totally believe what we have to say either about fucking anything. Make sure you look that shit up. We always encourage. Both of us, I think, throughout our careers have done a good job of like, don't believe what I say, look up what I say. I prefer when people look up what I say, because then it gives my words more validity, right? When they realize I'm telling the truth. But look the fuck around you, people. Like, it went from 100% effectiveness. If you get the jab, you're not going to get sick. You're not going to get it, right? Then it went to you can get it, but you can't transmit it, and you're not going to get sick. Then it went from that to you can get it and get sick, but you're better off. First of all, how the fuck do you know you were better off? Like, all these people saying, I'm so happy I got vaccinated because I got COVID and it was bad, but it would have been a lot worse if I didn't get vaccinated. How the fuck do you know? Like, I mean, there's no fucking way of telling that. For all you know, it could have been nothing to you. You literally could have like had a good immune system, and the jab you got made it worse, and you barely survived because of the jab. Like, there's no way of fucking knowing that. It's like these things that we're speaking into existence all of a sudden are like half of it is if you speak for the frenzy, for the mass hysteria that's going on, it is taken as gold. But if you speak against it, you're a fucking crazy person. There is no evidence to say that this is actually working. Since people can get the jab and still die from the actual fucking virus, there's no evidence to say it's working at all. Like, I mean, since you can still get it and everything like that, there's no evidence to say it's working, because who is to say you would have gotten it if not, or if you would have? It's like they've skewed science to the point where that's why it's important that there's people like us that are going to remain in the control group, because you can look the fuck around people and realize that they're playing with words. You can look the fuck around and realize that people are still getting sick. Look up anything on any social media, and that's the fucking crazy part. You can look on any social media right now, and there are dozens and dozens, if not hundreds and hundreds of stories of people that have been injured by this jab. That is with suppression. Imagine that, people. That is with suppression. Imagine if there was no suppression going on about these stories. Imagine how loud that voice would be. Imagine if they all actually got through and were publicized, what it would be like. But yet we still have people that are just dropping their fucking minds into the gutter by not even trying to use critical thinking. It's fucking sad, dude.
What I don't understand is they're saying that it decreases symptoms. We have a survival rate of 99.96% or something like that. So they're saying that it's up to 99.99. Even if that's true, that's not a very big decrease in death rate, considering that it vastly, look, my doctor said, do not get the shot. Do not fucking get it. I don't care if they have you at gunpoint, because you look, man, at the end of the day, here's my medical issue, man. I took fucking steroids in 2013, and I took some steroids, and I'm on HRT, and my fucking heart's like this fucking big, and my fucking blood is thick. My blood is like it's like fucking, those goo drinks, the fucking carb things that the runners drink. That's my blood. Okay, so for me, the COVID vaccine, being that COVID for me was, I thought I had a tough leg day. COVID. Right. Why would I, as someone who's already beat the fuck out of this, and every time it passes around, the longer it's out here, the weaker it gets. That's just how fucking viruses work. The Delta variant, guess what? Delta's weak as fuck. It's a variant. Variants don't get stronger normally unless it's a fucking atypical virus, which it could be. They get fucking weaker. So why would I risk my fucking heart stopping, risk a healthy young man getting myocarditis so I could fucking say I got the Fauci ouchie? Fuck Fauci right in his fucking pussy. I'm fucking tired of this guy. Fucking tired. Tired of him going on fucking news. I'm tired of hearing these people, and I'm tired of these fucking vax Nazis. I got one who lives in my neighborhood. There's a dude who died of COVID on my street. First thing this bitch says is, well, when it happened, if you got the vaccine. Bitch, can you prove that?
Can you prove it?
At the end of the day, man, he got really unlucky. He went to the hospital, and guess what? They wouldn't let his family bring ivermectin to him. The hospital fucking killed him. Period. Hospital
I agree with that.
Patients. Pharmacists are killing patients. We need medical choice. Last thing, man, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you, dude. If anybody in my family gets sick, hospital is the fucking last choice. Because if you're not needed, they're trying to pad their fucking numbers. I super glue my own fucking wounds and shit like that, bro. I for real. And it's not to be a tough guy. It's literally not to be a tough guy. I don't want to fucking go to the hospital. Like a doctor's office, like your personal doctor, different. Going to a hospital, dude. It is consistent with them having their own death rate. The hospital system has their own fucking death rate. It's consistent. That's some crazy shit. And the shit you're talking about, that would have never ever been allowed before. Like where the hospital would refuse a certain fucking treatment for them. That's would have never ever been allowed before 2020. Well, the thing is, this family is afraid to make public. And we got, dude, there were celebrities, our neighborhood went in, but we have a couple idiots in my neighborhood. You know, this bitch has like 400 bumper stickers on her van. I don't care if she fucking hears me. Like, you got a $1.5 million house. You got fucking 400 bumper stickers on your minivan. What's wrong with you? You're obviously a liberal. But at the end of the day, every neighborhood has one. Everyone does. But I'm just fucking tired of this shit, man. I'm tired of these vax Nazis. It's like, so if someone with the vaccine, like, that's why I'm like, you know what? When, God rest his soul, because I'm actually not, I'm a Colin Powell fan, because I thought, even though the war was fucking unnecessary, I like the way he fucking I liked him like as an American. Like for me, it was my childhood. Like Colin Powell was that's all you saw on the news. Colin Powell, like, hey guys, we're gonna blow some shit up. I'm like, fuck yeah, Colin Powell, blow some shit up. And then I found out the war was completely unnecessary. But I still got this like place in my heart for Colin Powell.
Right.
I don't know, man. That might sound weird, being that I am anti-aggressionist, anti-war, but he's a part of my childhood. And look, when he was in charge, man, I lived in a military town, and Colin Powell was God in that Edwards Air Force Base in Southern California. We lived right by there. I used to go on the base. You know, my friends had we used to go to their store, and you get like at that time you buy a music CD. It was like $20 at the warehouse, which is the music store. Right. And you get like $5 there. And I used to go there and I remember I bought Cypress Hill, Insane in the Membrane there.
Yeah. I love Cypress Hill. I work out to him all the time.
Well, I was like, dude, fucking Colin Powell reminds me of fucking Cypress Hill. We're ADHD as fuck today. So anyway.
No shit. We're all over the place. Dude, the fucking thing about Colin Powell, 84 years old, fighting off cancer, and everybody's like, oh, COVID took him. Like, what the fuck? Well,
but then we were our vax people, you know, we kind of had to do it. Like, we're like, well, he did kind of have the fucking vaccine, you know, and it sucked me to do that. But I'm like, look, dude, like at the end of the day, man, like when it's your time, it's your fucking time. If a virus takes you, it takes you. But again, man, it's more like it's 64 degrees and sunny out right now, right? It's gorgeous out. There's still more of a chance of me dying of sunstroke today than there is of me dying of COVID.
There absolutely is.
In fact, my chances of dying of COVID, since I've already had it and I'm young and I'm healthy, even with my fucking big steroid fucking heart, you know, at the end of the day, my chances are really low. Now, see, here's the thing. I used to say old people and shit should get it. But now that I'm seeing the statistics, I'm like, maybe I should shut the fuck up and just say, talk to your doctor, because like, I don't even think it's helping the old folk. Like Colin Powell, like, I know he had the disease he had was like a fucking death sentence. That thing was,
oh yeah.
He was, like, period.
He's 84 years. He's 84. It's amazing he lived his life. It's amazing he lived through the treatments he was already going through. The thing is, man, like, I'm the same way. I used to be like, of course, high risk people should consider it. I don't even know now. Maybe like, definitely talk to your doctor, of course. But I got to be real. It seems to me that, like, I don't know almost anybody that's just gotten these jabs and been like, they get sick after they get the jab. Like, I mean, almost 100% of the time, they at least have some sickness. Most people seem to get as sick or sicker than what you would when you get a normal cold or a bad cold. So I don't know if it's it now. Have you seen this? They're also changing this now. Now, once you're fully vaccinated, you should want to get COVID. Like, you should want to get it.
I saw that. I honestly, I think we should have COVID parties for young, healthy people.
What the fuck? I mean,
if you lived near me, dude, I would have been like, bro, I have COVID. Let's make out. Like,
let's make out.
COVID, get COVID, fucking get your immunity and fucking move on with your life, dude. You'll be fine. Most likely.
And the only thing I would have had to pay is a sloppy wet kiss with you.
Oh man, I think I'd rather you die.
But sorry, dude, but you're fucked. I love you, but you're fucked. So.
You're not my type. You're not my type. So it's funny. You know, you joke around with your friends like Courtney. Courtney's black. So Courtney made a joke about having sex with me, like you do with gym bros. Like, gym bros make gay jokes. It's just what we do. If that offends somebody, just don't hang out in the gym with us. And Courtney goes, he said something. I said, Courtney, you know, my first time would be with an Asian dude. Like, I'm gonna start small and work my way up. I'm not going straight with the BBC. It's not happening.
We're just trying to get this fuck motherfucker shut off today. We're just absolutely trying. Who else can we piss off?
I got my Star of David. I got Illuminati shit going on here.
Oh, the Star of David's now Illuminati. Is that a thing they're doing too?
I'm pretty sure we own Hollywood at least.
Oh, I can understand that.
And I'm sure we got Zuckerberg. So I mean, we're good.
He's in some shit, isn't he? Like, he's gonna rebrand that shit. Like
Facebook. I mean, he's in shit for a fucking month. There, like, the guy's fine. He'll be all right. He's really, like, the thing is, I don't know, did he go vegan or something? Because he looks sick as fuck.
I don't know. He's an insane motherfucker to me. Like, I mean, some of these people, like,
I love him.
You gotta give him credit for building what he built. Like, you do, but when you get that rich, I will say it again, when you get that rich, you're not a person anymore. Like, when you get to the point where you can have that much sway on shit, you're not a person anymore. You actually are your own, like, kind of fucking entity. You know, your own world power. And while that would be cool, like, it's like, then it's like, does absolute power corrupt absolutely? Like,
I like when people try to, like, line, like, Zuckerberg's family was involved. It's like, dude, he was literally a guy who had a college app for college kids, and he just was right place, right time. Like, maybe he turned evil later on. I just think Zuckerberg's just a fucking nerd who got lucky as shit. And
I agree with that.
And he could be evil, but I don't think, like, he's evil because he didn't create Facebook because of some fucking scheme. He was a bro. He was like a fucking nerd, and he's like, dude, this could be cool. College kids talk to each other, and then next thing you know, he controls the media. Like, God bless that shit. God bless him. Like, I never knew I'd be like the king of fucking protein bars. You know, it's like Marc Lobliner set out to make delicious protein peanut butter goodness. Nah, dude. The thing about conspiracy theories, like you and I are like, they're usually right, but some people like I made a tweet today. The fucking Mike Lindell guy, the fucking Mike guy.
Yeah.
Mike Lindell, I like this dude, Chuck Colesto, who's 90% spam, but his shit's actually good sometimes.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't mind him. He's hustling, and I respect the hustle. We're all grifting in some way. Yeah. And he goes like, Mike Lindell says that he's going to show the world that Trump won the election. I'm like, dude, the guy literally said Trump will be president by August. Once August 31st or 30th, however many fucking days are in the month passed, I'm like, all right, my pillow guy, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like, let your conspiracies go, guys.
That's the thing. Like, and it was weird because we got so thrown in with, like, the conspiracy theorists. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, when I can just post data and be like, this is the death rate because here's the math, like, it's simple basic math, that's not fucking conspiracy. When you were talking about vitamin D and people were like calling you conspiracy theorists, I'm like, that's a bad sign for society. That's not good. Like, you didn't say, like, Bigfoot was causing COVID. Like you said, vitamin D is good for your health.
I do think COVID could have originated with Bigfoot or aliens, or maybe the Loch Ness monster. Those are all things as a kid. And honestly, the one I didn't expect to be proven was aliens. Like I thought for sure, like the Loch Ness monster made sense. Like it's a lock, and okay, I get it. Like it could be trapped in there, like prehistoric, like a cockroach, right? Like those motherfuckers all around. Bigfoot makes sense. Like there could be some like primitive animal we don't know of, but yet the government goes and admits there's fucking aliens this year, and nobody cares. Like I'm the only one, like me and Joe Rogan, and obviously. Joe Rogan has a slightly bigger voice than me. Joe Rogan and I, he was the only one other than me like, motherfucker, there's aliens, and no one cared. I'm like, dude, I'm tweeting every day, dude, there's aliens. Dude, there's fucking aliens. And everybody's like, oh, cool, let's talk about Trump. I'm like, there's one thing more important than the election in American politics. The fact that there's aliens coming down, probing our buttholes.
Yeah, well... Again, we automatically leapt to that they want our buttholes for some reason. I have no idea why. But the when that was like April, they like slid that in like April or May of 2020 too. Yeah. Like it was like we're going to declassify these UFOs, and people were just like, oh, okay. It's like, what the fuck, people? Like, I mean, the government just told you that there's aliens.
But
like,
you're forgetting something really, really important that happened at the time, Alan, and that's the Tiger King.
That's right.
Like everybody was wondering how this crazy guy with tigers was having straight dudes have sex with him and leave their wives.
Yeah,
like that
was the important thing of our time at that moment.
It really was, not the pandemic, but I understand people wanted a distraction. Hey, let's jump over to questions so people like, because we tell people to comment. Victor, there are 20-year-olds getting COVID while being vaxxed, and they are getting it a lot worse than if not vaxxed. I know two that suffered more than me at 46. I've seen the same.
I have too. Again, I will point out we don't know if they would have suffered greatly besides the statistics that state that 20-year-olds, if they're healthy, might almost probably never notice they had this shit. I will say this, though. Somebody's got to explain to me why we have more deaths this year with the vaccine than we had last year without one.
Science.
I mean, I need somebody to explain that one to me, because, and I need somebody to explain to me how a good 50 to 60% of most hospitalizations are people that have had the jab. Like until people can explain that, there's no reason for me to risk. And like, it's 99.999 survivability with the jab, supposedly, depending on how they're counting it, and it's 99.975 or 96 or something like that. Without, I'm good with, like, I don't understand how we're still at the point where we don't, like, that's acceptable risk to me. Shit, 95% acceptable risk to me.
Well, what's your risk of dying when driving? Isn't it like 90? It's like 2% or some shit. It's crazy. Like if you drive throughout your life, I forgot. I'm fucking bullshit. I'm a liberal right now because I'm making shit up. But I remember reading some absurd statistic that if you drive throughout your life, you have a super high risk of death. I mean, a super high meaning like 0.5%, but like that's still a lot. Like, and we rely on drive. Like, I can't even buy milk without driving. Like, I live in a hill, so I can't even go to my neighborhood swimming pool without fucking driving. That shit's far, and yet it's so dangerous. And here's Feels. He's 23. He had COVID last summer. Wasn't bad at all. Got the shot. Felt way sicker from the shot. And then he goes on later. I remember reading to say that he regrets getting it.
I've had tons of people message me recently and say they regret getting it, especially now that they realize that the CDC is actively changing the definition of fully vaccinated to include boosters. I mean, like, what did you people think? Did you think that they once you accepted their terms on your freedoms, that they were going to allow you to just go free? Like, once you can see, like, freedom's not based on, well, if I get the jab, they'll let me free. That's not how that fucking works. If they force you to get the jab, you're not free, and they know it. My worry is this. My worry is that anybody that opts not to get it anymore, will their immunity come back? Like, will their immune system get back to natural?
No, I'm really scared. The more I read about, and again, like, I read data for a living, but it's not this data. And I'm sure to say that, like, when I say, I like when people go, I give an opinion. They're like, you can't give that opinion. I give my opinion on anything. I give my opinion on fucking home decor, and I don't know shit about home decor. If it was up to me and I wasn't married, I'd have fucking WWF posters from the 90s on my wall.
But shit.
give my opinion based on the research I've read and based on the breadth of data I've looked at. I hope I'm wrong, but I am truly petrified of what we're going to see this winter. And I hope to God I'm wrong. And I mean that sincerely from the bottom of my heart. And I've told you so many times, I'm like, Alan, we got to prepare ourselves, man.
Yeah.
We're actually really good people. We don't want to see people die, but we might see some shit this year that we've never seen as human beings.
Well, we're already starting to see it. Like people are already they're talking about this super cold. It's not a super cold, folks. It's a cold. It's just that you're super weak. Like you've weakened yourselves to the point where you're not going to survive. And by the way, Mark, I looked it up. 1 in 67. You have a 1 in 6,700 chance of dying in a vehicle.
Holy shit, that's horrible.
That is horrible compared to the 1 in 50,000 chance as a 50-year-old I have of dying of the Delta variant.
Oh my God, dude, that's 67.
It is like 9 times more likely that I'll die in a car than of COVID.
Alan, I know that tweet's coming, and I will retweet the fuck out of that.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, here's my thing, dude. I've done some sketchy fucking shit in my life, right? Oh, yeah. I used to run a strip club where the fucking Italian dude picked up a white envelope at the end of the fucking week, and that's not a fucking lie. I mean, like that's the fucking truth. Yeah. And I mean, this place had been shot. Like there'd been drive-bys. I mean, it's like I was in the nightclub business for a while. Like there's some sketchy shit. When I was a teenager, I was a teenager in the fucking 80s. Our parents did not know where we were most of the goddamn time. We used to go have like party ball parties. Like I'd stand in. I was like had a gray hair when I was like 17 years old, so I could like stand in the line at the beer distributor, hand them a piece of paper with written in pencil says my mom says I'm 21 on it, and they'd fucking take it as my ID, and we get drunk in the woods, like a bunch of teenagers just drinking our asses off in the woods, no supervision, most times just sleeping out there. Anything could have fucking happened. We used to jump from truck bed to truck bed on Route 51 in Pittsburgh in the South Hills while we were going down Route 51 at like 35, 40 miles an hour. Why do other people get to decide my risks now that I'm allowed to take? Like, I don't understand that shit at all, you know?
What I would be really worried about in that situation is Bigfoot.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, dude, and he could come for the beer at any given time. Dude, this is no shit. Me and a bunch of my buddies were out there. I think we were like 17 years old. We were drinking, and we had 2 party balls because there was a bunch of us, right? And we always had a little bonfire going because Pittsburgh is the redneck capital of the fucking North. Just in case people are wondering. Yeah. So, I mean, we always had a bonfire going. So we pulled out for the party balls, the Coors Light party balls, there was like a special tap that you pulled out, and just like this plastic empty ball with a little bit of beer left in it, like the bad beer left in the back, in the bottom, and it was like a big round globe basically. So of course we're drunk teenagers, and sorry mom, but of course we're drunk teenagers, and we throw the box and everything like that onto the fire. We're just gonna fucking get rid of it. We don't give a fuck about global warming and melting the plastic or anything like that at that time, right? And this motherfucker, like we're hammered. This motherfucker takes up, like catches on fire and like kind of comes up off the ground and fucking shoots into the fucking woods. This fiery ball from all the gas buildup inside of it. Like it could have hit any of us. It's like amazing nobody died. Like amazing. So many times. So many times. It's amazing that nobody died. And now people get to decide that I am not safe enough from a fucking cold that my life should be altered. Fuck all of you motherfuckers. Like
my brother just turned 47 yesterday, and it was funny. We were just like kind of reminiscing about how we used to jump off 2nd-story roofs and shit. Like, and now our kids get like, there's one neighbor who says their kid, and nobody else does, says their kid's school in a mask, and I kind of look away. But I'm like, dude, like your kid is a pussy. Like, just stop. Like your kid needs to go out and do man shit. Like that's part of becoming a man. You do dumb shit, you hurt yourself. Because I'm pretty sure I got up limping from jumping off the roof. But
I'd imagine.
And now I prevent my kids from doing my kids are athletes. Like they have D1 rides going for them. You know, it's like, promise, don't go to the trampoline park. You're going to fuck up your ankle. Not during wrestling season. We need a good 2 months to heal if you fuck it up, right? He's very risk averse, and that's because they have shit going for him. When I was a kid, man, we were like, fuck it, there's a roof. Let's see if we could jump from it. And did. And that's the crazy part. Now we can't have our kids out of the house. Like I see kids in masks. It makes me frustrated and mad and angry. And I don't know if I'm mad at the parents for being idiots and ignorant, or if I'm mad at the government for lying to them and the media for shoving this down their throat. And they just don't know any better. I had a conversation with one of my friends, a dad from the States. He's like, I'm actually okay with the mandates. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So I had to explain to him why they're not cool and why me. Well, couldn't you get a health exemption? I'm like, why? Why can't I just say I'm at risk? And why would someone like me? And then he changed his mind at the end. But people who get their news just who don't pay attention like we do, like all they hear is the noise, and the noise is coming from CNN and Biden and all these assholes, and they're lying to them, and they don't have a counter argument. And that's why we have to keep screaming, because God forbid someone doesn't hear us. They're going to be lied to, and they're going to be, oh, mandates are fine. We're saving grandma.
First of all, are you really saving grandma more than isolation? One of my biggest sticks, and the thing I've stuck to the entire time, and if people don't fucking believe this, check out my shit from over a year and a half ago. The way we presented this entire thing really set like the high risk people up to fucking die in droves. Like we totally bullshitted everybody, but for people like you and I, they were trying to tell us that we're at huge risk too. Like that was the thing. Like you're at huge risk, and then it went from when people started saying, "No, I'm not at risk." Well, what about grandma and grandpa? Social distancing, all this bullshit masks, that's not saving grandma or grandpa. You know what's going to save them? Complete isolation. Like, there's no stopping this virus. I released a video today. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You're going to get this shit. Yep. Like, I mean, you are going to get it. It is an endemic virus. There's no, you cannot stop the tide from coming in. We cannot stop the fucking nature from happening. So get healthy. You know, I mean, me and you have, like, get fucking healthy. Get the jab. Get healthy also. Like, I mean, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I mean, like you telling me to take the jab while you're 300 pounds automatically disqualifies you from telling me anything about my fucking health. You know?
Technical foul. Being fat, giving health advice. Speaking of which, why are fat people giving all the health advice? Like this chick in charge, what we talked about her last week, the chick.
Rachel Levine.
Yeah, like I don't give like, oh, her look, dude, I'm not going to argue the mental health of people who transition. That's not, look, I don't know shit about that. I do know shit about this. If you have 3 chins, you can't be lecturing me on health or be a director of health or be a 4-star fucking general of health. At the end of the day, you're a fat, unhealthy fuck, and you need to lose weight, and then maybe we'll talk.
Yeah, I'm down, 100% down.
I don't care that she has a penis. I don't think that's a mental. Honestly, I've met enough transgender people who are really, really cool people.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's I'll disagree with all of the conservatives on my timeline. I don't think it's a mental illness. I think it's just who they are. And whether it's nurture versus nature, I'm not a fucking expert, but because I'm not an expert, and who am I to pass judgment on anybody?
Right.
Like God created, look, the one thing I know, and again, like, you know, it's fucking, I never heard that. I'm a born again Jew, right? Like, that's fucking weird. I mean, look, the one thing
you need to put that on a shirt, dude.
Born again Jew. It's like, can we even do that? But the Jews don't believe like Jesus was the Messiah, so we're still waiting. So am I technically like just born? Like, there's no again, because we don't even believe Jesus was the guy. Like, we're like, dude, we don't accept him. We're waiting for the real guy. The Christian's like, bro, like, he fucking walked on water. Jews are like, not good enough. Moses parted that shit. And he ain't the guy. No, anyway, that's so fucking ADHD. So my thing is, like, one thing I love about religion is we're all created equal in the eye of the beholder. You know, that's what I look at. And look, man, I do believe that people are born like, look, here's my litmus test. People, I remember I was riding with a distributor. I'm not going to name the distributor. It was I first started my first company, Civation. It was in the Bible Belt, and he was trying to explain to me how homosexuality is developed. It's not, you're not born being gay. And I said, all right. I said, let me ask you this: if you walked into a locker room with a bunch of football players, like abs and everything, would you get a boner? Well, probably not. No. Like, if you walked into the cheerleaders' locker room, they're all naked, lathering up with soap, would you get a boner? Yeah. Okay.
I do like how you added the lathering up with soap for the women, but from that. Anyway,
I don't even want to talk about dudes lathering up. I don't even want that visual. And I'm not, but if you're gay, like I couldn't perform with a dude if I want. I couldn't be like, okay, there's a guy, I'm in the mood. It's like, no, but with girls, I'm attracted to girls. So obviously there's an attraction to, so I'm like, I don't, again, like I might be wrong, but that's how I look at things. I'm a very simplistic thinker. If you get a boner for guys, you're probably gay. If you get a boner for girls, you're probably not. And I know that's, oh my God, that's so homophobic. No, it's not. It's not.
Sounds pretty simple to me.
I don't want to have dudes. I just don't. I didn't even want to kiss you to give you COVID. I mean, that's how not gay I am. But
and it could have saved my life, dude. I thought we were friends.
Nah, some things are just worth dying for.
My thing about the gay, like, because you get that a lot, like in YouTube comments or like that, they say like, oh, that's gay or this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like, here's my thing. I personally don't give a fuck about that. Like gay, bi, whatever. That does not matter to me. I'm a straight male. Like, I don't care if you're a guy or girl is bi, gay. I don't, that doesn't bother me. Love who you want to love. And I think that people, and like the gay marriage thing was big for a while. And I was like, why are we not letting these people fucking get married? Like, just because they can get legally married does not mean they are getting religiously married. If that's a religion thing for you, that's fine. But let them legally do some shit. Like, I had friends that couldn't visit each other in the hospital on their deathbeds because, or visit loved ones on a deathbed because they had been partners for a long time, but they weren't legally allowed to get married yet. So they weren't even allowed in the room when their loved one died. And that to me was heinous, right? I do find it funny that like a lot of people still throw like the gay thing as an insult. Like, if I say something and the first thing you do is question my sexuality, that means you're picturing me being gay more than I am. Maybe you're the one that has the actual problem with it, because I just don't think it's an insult. Like, I mean, I just really don't think of it as an insult to people, you know?
If someone calls me gay, that doesn't offend me. I'm like, no. I mean, it's okay, fine. I'm gay. Okay. I'm married. I might tell my wife about it. That's going to be a hell of a conversation. But look, man, I mean, I'm at the point in my life where it's like, look, and that's why I can't roll with conservatives, because they see things so black and white. And, it's just like, guys, I mean, you gotta have some kind of, and that's why I don't like the whole attacking Rachel Levine, because look, attack her because she's a fucking murderous piece of shit.
That's my thing.
Don't attack her because she has or had. Did she get her penis lopped off?
I have no idea. That's my other thing though too. I mean, this is, Jesus Christ, we're probably gonna get fucking banned for this. But what is the difference between a trans woman that does not get the bottom surgery, is what I think they refer to it, and a transvestite? Because transvestites were like drag shows. Drag shows used to be a big thing. Drag shows are awesome. We talked about that the last thing. I think the next time we're together, we should go to a drag show.
I'd love it.
Yeah, fuck yeah. My wife loves them. I think they're entertaining as fuck.
And
but
they're sexy.
Yeah. But what's the difference? Like, I mean, like, because if you are a trans woman and you still have a penis and don't plan on having your penis removed, what's the difference between you and a transvestite? And I'm pretty sure, like, because especially now here, like this whole thing has gotten so warped for me. I think that's why it's hard, because now you can be a trans woman lesbian. So if you're a trans woman lesbian and you still have your penis and you want to have sex with women, does that not make you a dude fucking chicks? Like, I mean, like, and I'm not trying, this is no shit. This is not me trying to fucking piss people off on purpose. If I'm trying to piss you off, trust me, you know. But like, I don't understand. That's shit that I wish somebody could like lay out for me, because when I heard that trans women could then also be lesbians, that just seems, and I know people are going to be like, well, it's sexual preference and then identity. But if you still have the penis, then it's the sex you'd be having is heterosexual sex. So you're not really a lesbian. And then I don't, like the.
I'd like to try and answer that. My answer would be that sex, like, for example, when you're married, it's different, because it's like, my wife, for example, had explant surgery. So I went from having, and I guess we can use breasts as a replacement for penis very loosely. No pun intended. So I still was attracted to my wife, even though the fun bags were gone. But we have emotional connection and a spiritual connection that isn't just physical lust. So I think to say that, a dude fucking a chick or whatever, a chick fucking whatever it is, I think that we need to look beyond that and realize that love me, and this sounds really corny and I'm really reaching here, that sex and intimacy is beyond the actual act of penetration.
I gotcha.
And I think that would be the best way I'd explain, because I do empathize, and I'm a huge supporter. That's the thing, is that I'm not even going to go into the story, but I actually had a retailer get angry at me because one of their managers was upset that I was like, I don't want my daughter to lose a scholarship to a female, a male who identifies as a female. And it's different when you talk about sport versus you talk about feeling and what we identify as. Those are two different things. Like, I can't go and identify as a natural athlete and compete in natural bodybuilding,
right?
Because I'm on steroids and I'm not a natural athlete. So why should a guy be able to identify as something he's not? And that is a biological female. There's a difference between being a female and a biological female. Huge difference. And I think it's all in the mindset. Like, it's kind of like sports. And I know I'm really getting philosophical here, and I apologize. But in sport, I'll be like, Thomas, be a fucking warrior. He's not a warrior. He's a fucking rich white kid from Brentwood, Tennessee. But in that moment, he's a fucking warrior. He's General Patton marching down the field. He's a fucking warrior. Cammy, fucking be the queen. She ain't a queen. She's a fucking 15-year-old girl in Brentwood, Tennessee. For that moment, she identifies as a fucking warrior queen, So I think what we identify as, even if it's for this, I'm okay with you waking up one day and being fluid. It doesn't bother me. But when you start talking about sport, again, like, my daughter can't identify as a U12 soccer player, go play down and fucking school 800 kids and become the world champion. So it's again, but if you want to identify as something in life, that's different than sports. So that's where I got misconstrued, is that I'm a huge fan of fluidity and whatever you want to be, pansexual, which basically means, I'm good with that. It doesn't bother me.
I agree, dude. It doesn't bother me. My thing is, like, there still should be realm for people to disagree with it too. And that's where society is right now. Society is acting like it's not okay. Like, I know that for many people, it's against their, like, almost religious beliefs that there's man and woman, there's not in between, and blah, blah, blah. My thing is, I don't give a fuck. I think it's ridiculous. Like, both sides have gotten a little ridiculous about it. Like, I saw people that were identifying with demon pronouns on TikTok, and I mean, what the fuck? Like, I mean, when you make a topic absurd, when you take it to absurdity, that's where it gets out of play. Like, when people demand, well, the trans, like, I had somebody be like, trans people have a right to be able to walk down the street and not have anybody say anything to them in a negative way. Nobody has that fucking right. Like, I mean, nobody, like, show me where those rights are and let me get some of that shit too. Like, I mean, not that I care, because half the funny shit I say in reaction to what people say about me. So, I mean, that's fine by me. I'd lose all my fucking material because I don't think I'm that funny unless I'm either fucking coming back at somebody or saying something about myself.
I get shamed all the time for being muscular, all the fucking time. The first thing people say to me if they need something bad to say, and, oh, well, you could change that. No, I don't want to. It's who I am. I love who I am. I love how I look. I love my body. I love everything. I love the fact that this shit took me 28 years and I still don't look that good compared to other people. This is all hard work and perseverance. And, as soon as God forbid, I say something that doesn't agree with somebody, oh, you have roid rage or this or that. It's like, you know what? That's their right to say that. It's also my right to say what I want back to them. It's when you start getting in altercations and inciting and threatening people, that's when it gets to be a problem. But whatever happened to sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
That's the fucked up thing is, and you got to tell the story you had with the soccer game in a second. Because, like, here's my thing. Say whatever you want about me. Just be prepared for me to say some outrageous shit back. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I grew up me and you grew up at a time that was how we communicated. I have some of the most vile, evil, nasty, horrible, fucking mean-spirited shit I've ever said has been to people that have been my best friends. Like, I mean, to me, that's almost how we communicate together. You know, like, I mean, it is ridiculous. You had likely the best comeback for the roid rage thing I've ever fucking heard, though. So please tell that story.
Right next to one time on the playground at recess, I hung out with old black kids when I was a kid. And we used to tell Yo Mama jokes at recess. You stand in a circle. Oh, snap. And I watched Def Comedy Jam the night before, and my friends couldn't afford HBO. And I happened to have a pirated box. And on Def Comedy Jam, one of the comics said, Yo Mama's so black, she wore a Malcolm X shirt and a helicopter landed on her. And I got my bro really good that day. Because normally I couldn't get away with Yo Mama So Black jokes, but that one was so good I had to risk it.
Yeah.
And it was worth every penny. But anyway, so we're at a soccer game, 2 soccer games. Now, for my son's ECNL, we have to travel far for just one game. It's high level, whatever. It's a waste of money. But anyway, but he loves it, so we pay for it. So therefore
it's not a waste.
So we're in a suburb of Atlanta, Gwinnett, and we're playing versus this team. And I'm standing by my buddy who's a dad. He's a great friend of mine. His name's Aaron. His kid's name is Will. They're amazing people. Some of our best friends. Aaron is a hothead and he's a big mouth, but he ain't fighting anybody. So he's the guy, he's the dad on the sideline yelling, that was a foul, that was this, that was that. And the other parents are going off. The ref was letting it get out of hand. He should have tossed a couple yellows up to calm it down. So anyway, I'm standing there like, ref, you got to, all I said the whole game was, ref, you got to throw a yellow at one of the teams or this thing's going to get out of hand, which by the way, it did. So anyway, long story short, Aaron, they fouled the shit out of our kid. And Aaron goes, you got to call it, ref, or something like that. Really loud, boisterous. And the other team, the entire sideline, starts fucking going in like, oh, shut up. You guys been doing it all game. You play dirty. And they started going in on Aaron. And Aaron's my boy. Like, I don't know where you're from, but where I'm from, it doesn't matter if he's right or wrong. In that case, he probably shouldn't have yelled it that loud, but they went in. I'm like, hey, Aaron, and I was addressing him to him, like, hey, guys. I said it just like this. I shit you not. Guys, they're 13 years old.
Yeah.
You're going to forget this by 6 p.m. Yeah. Calm down and let's just enjoy the game. I thought I was doing something awesome. I'm like, dude, I'm actually growing up. And so anyway, so
we got a while yet before that happens, Mark. For both of us, we got a long time before that happens.
Well, you'll figure out why I didn't grow up later. So anyway, so these motherfuckers start going in, like, don't tell us what to do. You know, you guys are out of control. This start talking about our kids and going off, and I'm like, and I looked over and I said, I'm not the guy you want to talk to like that. So just let's calm down. Oh, what are you doing? What do you think you're going to do? What do you think? I'm like, you really don't want to find out. Oh, are you threatening? Then one of the dads says, oh, I got something in my car for you, basically threatening to shoot me. And I'm like, did you just, and by that time, the line judge was this cool ass, I got to give you a visual. So he was cool ass, like younger, kind of overweight, but really like a cool black dude, right? He's like, you can't be threatening to shoot people on this field, bro. You took it too far. Yeah. So I'm like, did you just threaten to shoot me? I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm like, and they're talking stuff. I'm like, all right, just calm down. Let the kids play the damn game. So they played the game. It was hot. We ended up losing, right? I mean, it's fine. Our kids, they played a good game. They're 13. I don't give a fuck. They're 13. All right. So anyway, I told Aaron, I'm like, dude, I can't let someone just threaten to shoot me and not address it. So at the end of the game, I'm like, I walked out in front of the parents' sideline. I said, all right, which one of y'all threatened to shoot me? And it wasn't the dudes. It was the moms. Yeah. They started going off. Oh, well, you're this and that, and just going in, talking all this shit. And I'm like, if you guys are going to talk shit, you need to back it up. Whoever's going to shoot me, you better have a gun. You better shoot me, because if you try anything else, it's not going to work. Even all of you guys. And so anyway, so this mom's just going off at me. And I'm like, this one woman, like, she wasn't overweight or anything. So she starts going off and I'm like, man, and she's like going, oh, well, you think you're all tough and this and that. I said, look, I'm not saying anything wrong. If I was, I'd talk about your outfit because it's hideous. And anyway, so they're getting worked up and I'm like, I'm trying to walk away. And so this one woman's still yelling at me and she goes, oh, I see how it is. She's like, oh yeah, you muscle man, you got roid rage. And I said, that's it. I looked at her and I said, bitch, you got donut rage.
That's awesome.
And it was the greatest line of my life. And So anyway, so they're still going off, and she goes something like, she goes, oh, well, you think you're all big and bad with the muscle. I said, ma'am, I said, with all due respect, why are you talking about how I look? I'm not talking about you, how you look. I'm not over here talking about your fat ass. At that point, her husband, who was the one dude talking all this shit, this gray-haired guy with an accent, acts like he's going to do something. And like, he's like, oh, don't talk about my wife. I'm like, so I took off my hat, took off my sunglasses, and was like The Rock, was like, bring it. I'm like, you want to here? Let's go. Of course he didn't. At that point, so here's where I realized I live in a white fucking neighborhood that doesn't know how to fucking handle shit. Not one of the dads on my sideline had my back. They were about 10 yards from me. Okay. And I literally did this to take up for one of their guys.
Yeah.
These aren't my dudes. Like, so,
no,
so finally, one of the dads come up. He's like, dude, they're trash. Just walk away. I'm like, I got it. I had to address the fact the dude threatened to shoot me. You know,
could you imagine if that would have happened like at a game we all went to, like what, 2 weeks ago when a bunch of us were at your house?
Oh, it would have been great. But
but that's the point. Like, I mean, like, we've reached a stage in society where people won't say shit, and then they won't back up people that do say shit.
Well, the thing was I had no bits. So anyway, so long story short, the coach came up from the other team. He apologized. And I said, bro, you can't have your parents threatening to kill other parents. It's just not a good look for your club. He said, dude, you were in the right. You were trying to diffuse the situation. They came at you. And I said, look, if I did anything wrong, it's that I didn't just shut up. But look, here's the deal. Once you threaten to kill me, we have to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so another coach from the club came up, and he was like, because he was kind of a cool dude. He gave me a handshake. We hugged. He said, bro, he's like, that's not representative of our club. He's like, sorry you went through that. I'm like, bro, it's all good. But it was really funny because even when I lived in the hood, I've had issues, but this is the first time that anyone's ever threatened to shoot me. And it was at a fucking 13-year-old soccer game.
I think people have gotten to the stage where they just say the most outlandish shit they can to try to back people off. That's where the whole fucking, like, everything's racist. I had somebody this is no shit. This is a new thing where I made a video about another girl's, like, the video where the girl is, somebody says maybe you shouldn't eat so many donuts, and she releases this thing like, the best thing about being an adult is you can eat cake whenever you want. She slides this chocolate cake over, and she gets a fork and she starts eating the cake, not a slice of cake, just eating the fucking cake, right? I'm sorry, but like, answering back with somebody saying you're overweight by taking a fork to a full fucking cake is not, like, that's not the clapback people think it would be, right?
No, it's self-indicting.
Right. So I said, like, I really wish better for you, because that's addiction level behavior. That's the equivalent to an alcoholic being told, hey, maybe you shouldn't drink so much, and slide it over and take a swig of the bottle. And I like a couple years ago, I had a friend from high school pass away, and we all warned him years and years and years ago, you're going to drink yourself to death. And his little response was to take a shot take a swig from a bottle and be like, so be it. I'll do what I want to do. I'm an adult, right? And like 10 years later, dude's dead because of drinking, And it's sad, but it's not something I wasn't prepared for, because shit, dude drank like he drank like he was killing himself. That's what happened, right?
And food, I would argue that food is just as dangerous as alcohol, other than the whole, you can't really, like, drinking and driving. You take out drinking and driving, and alcohol is not the number one comorbidity in the world.
No, it absolutely is obesity.
Obesity,
absolutely.
But alcohol, the funny thing is, alcohol contributes to obesity.
Yes, it does.
Because alcohol, a lot of people don't know this. Not only does it, and people are like, can I still diet and drink alcohol? I'm like, it's going to be really hard, because not only does it blunt fat burning and add calories while you're drinking, but it hinders your body's ability to burn fat for the next 9 hours after that drink. Yep. So that's why it's not okay to have a beer a day. It's not okay to have a glass of wine a day. You can do it. But if you're asking about optimal living, drinking does not come into the equation. But if you want to drink because you want to drink, by all means, it's a free it used to be a free country. But what I love is that people like, and the media and everything, glamorize drinking alcohol. They do it at parties, they drink on air, and yet the fact that during this whole pandemic they haven't talked about health and fitness, alcohol be the thing. And yet Texas had it where during the pandemic, and Abbott is part idiot, where you can actually pick up alcohol during the lockdowns. You can't go in and get the alcohol, but you could pick it up. So we're encouraging people to get fast food and alcohol, sit in their house and become fat and drunk.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it's The weird thing I'm also going to point out, by the way, alcohol addiction is just another form of sugar addiction because sugar makes alcohol.
You're not wrong.
It truly fucking is.
That's science.
But the thing that a few commenters pointed out, they're trying to change the wording where, since I use this woman's video, and even though it's on a platform set up to share other people's videos, right? I used it in a way that wasn't to her liking. So I was violating consent. Like, when you think of violating consent, it's normally like a rapey type thing, right? And I was like, that's pretty fucking sad that you're going to use words violating consent, like for me making a video of her encouraging her to have healthy behaviors. Like, I mean, you're that's the same shit that they always do. Like, it's this shit where everything's racist. The idea behind them calling everything racist is to shut you the fuck up, because who wants to be considered a racist? My thing is, I think both you and I have gotten to the stage and had been to the stage for a while where, like, I mean, dude, for years people had been pissy with me. Like, it's like, I come from before all this COVID bullshit. 50% of my audience hated me. 50% of my audience liked me. So I'm used to the fucking hate. You know, I'm used to people saying what the fuck they're going to say. You know, I think the same for you, because you took an awful lot of fucking online bashing, from me included. You know, like, but I think people fucking, they use these words as like shock value to try to fucking shut people up all the fucking time, because people don't realize the gravity of what they say. Like, that dude fucking saying, like, I got something in my car for you. You know, like, fucking 20 years ago, that dude's lucky he's alive. Because, like, I mean, if you were like in Tennessee 20 years ago, or you were in Georgia, but if you're in a stand your ground state, that guy has literally just threatened your life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
it literally did. And I don't carry on soccer fields. So if anyone wants to get me one at a soccer field, because it literally says you can't carry. But here's the deal. I think, and again, like, I kind of feel bad for the guys because it was the girls provoking it, and the dudes were like, I do not want to fight this guy, because I was obviously up for it. I was like, let's go. You know,
who wants it?
They didn't want anything to do with it. Like, honey, shut. But I told my wife this on the way home from the gym today. I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, if you did something like that, first of all, I forgot this part of the story. This is what really angered me. When we were in the middle of that altercation, they were like, you guys lost. I'm like, are you really dunking on 13-year-olds? I said,
I mean, what the fuck?
Where is your life where you're dunking on 13-year-olds who played their heart out and came up short? Yeah, I mean, our kids are fine. Like, they're playing at a high level. They moved up a league. I didn't expect them to get killed by more this weekend. I was proud that they fucking played their asses off. You know, Thomas played his ass off. I was like, dude, awesome. After the game, I gave every kid a hug, man. I coached these kids last year, but I'll be damned if anybody says something negative about my children, my kid, and I call my kid, my athletes or my former athletes, anybody I've coached, they're my children. And once you come at them, you're coming at me, and we don't have any loyalty. And I found that out yesterday on the soccer sideline, and it's really sad. And it's these entitled ass white people. I guarantee you this, because I told Courtney this story this morning. We were at the gym, and Courtney's like, man, I'd have pulled up my shirt and I would have been standing right next to you. And every one of my friends would have. And it's these people who grow up in these areas like Brentwood, and my kids will gangster up. If any, my Thomas has done it. I've seen him do it. He got disqualified from a wrestling match because before the match, one of the kids from the other team punched his teammate. He whoops this kid's ass in less than a minute, and during the handshake says, "That's for punching Emmanuel." And then the ref fucking DQ. He was already done fighting for the day. He just had to leave. But I was like, dude. So Thomas is crying, right? Katie tells me the story, and I'm like, I called Thomas right away. I'm like, bro, I'm proud of you. I'm like, you always take up for your teammate. Always take up for your teammate. That's better lesson than any win or loss. And at the end of the day, man, these guys, they saw a situation, and I guarantee you this: the reason I was in that situation, I was taking up for their guy. And I hope they hear this, because maybe they'll grow a spine, but they won't. These people have been entitled their whole fucking lives. And I live in a community of entitled people. And it's just weird coming from that hood mentality and coming from that loyalty mentality, that familia mentality. Remember, I spent a lot of my time hanging out with Latinos as well. It's familia. Like, you risk your life. And I've risked my life to take my friends out of situations back in the day. And people don't have that loyalty. And like, you get more mad than me when someone fucking, like, when that dude was like, talk shit on Instagram, like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like, calm down, bro.
Fuck is this motherfucker? You know, like,
that's because you grew up in that city mentality. But these suburban in, guys, and this is what's going on. Nobody has the balls to fight. Everybody is, oh, you know what? Marc's got this. I'll be okay. Like, all these liberties are being taken away and no one will stand up. It's because of these guys. It's their mentality. Oh, someone else will take care of it. Marc will handle it. Marc will stick up for our kids. No. What if we all stood together? Because I guarantee you, if we stood together as a team, they would have shut the fuck up real quick and no one would have been threatening to shoot anybody. Instead,
that's exactly, you just described what we should do about our problem with our government.
Well, I think there's a good amount of people who are. And it spans all races, it spans all genders, and it's a phenomenal thing that people are, I think the right kind of people are waking up. And I think the booster shot is what's going to do it, because they're like, dude, you said 2 shots and I'm done. Now you want me to go in every fucking 90 days? You're fucking out of your mind.
Is it 90 days now? Are they talking 90 days? Holy fuck.
I think the data, when they say data, it's always fucking cherry pick bullshit. I think they want us to do it every month, because every month that means Pfizer gets more money and Biden and his team get more kickbacks. That's all it's about. And that way CNN, brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Pfizer. Every fucking news network is being sponsored heavily by Pfizer. Now it's just a money grab. The more shots they can give you, the more money they make. And if they just had 2 shots for everybody, let's say 70% of the population, then you go up 50% for 3. And then they're like, okay, how can we keep this cash fucking this fucking going for longer and longer and longer? That's why the booster shots, it's indefinite. They're going to keep doing it as long as we keep saying okay.
My worry, my serious worry, is that the people that have already gotten, by the time you get your 3rd or 4th shot, are you going to be able to survive without one? No. Like will your immune system be able to come back enough to survive without? And I know it's like, that's not me trying to scare nobody. That's like, have they studied this? You know, like,
no.
The concept that people are saying these are proven, safe, and effective is a lie. Like, prove to me that in 3 years you're not going to grow a 3rd ear from this. Prove it.
I mean, but the data we're showing on immunity and the super cold, and it's not even, I mean, a lot of it is concrete data. Some of it's just fucking correlative data. And you know my opinion on correlation. It's worth about the paper it's written on. But if they're going to use correlative data, well, in Massachusetts, it's like, dude, if you can use correlation, I can use correlation. And correlative data gives us, what correlative data does is it gives us a benchmark to actually study the actual topic. And that's why I love when the vegans cite the China study, because not only was it cherry picked for only certain regions, but the China study was just correlative cherry pick data. But what we could have done with that data, instead of just having the vegans cite how, or the heart surgeons falsely cite things and then get kickbacks from the good old sugar industry, but instead of just saying, hey, the China study, we should have been like, hey, this correlative data showed us this, so why don't we do a study on this finding? And that's the problem, is that correlative data should give us an idea of what to research. It shouldn't be the research.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. That's the same thing. Like, people are like, well, correlation doesn't mean causation about obesity and all these other illnesses. Well, let's find the fuck out what it is. I mean, there's very serious data that show that the inflammation is what causes this shit. Like, inflammation is the root of all evil, just about. It really is. That's
one of the mechanisms of action of ivermectin. It's also so not only does it have this parasitic pathway that it blocks that's very similar to the viral replication pathway, but it also has a brilliant thing that it actually reduces inflammation. So, you know, you combine that with glutathione or glutathione inducing supplements, you combine it with, you know, prophylactics and zinc and all those other things, and you got a great cocktail that'll greatly increase your chances of not only surviving but getting over it really quick.
That's the thing. Like, and what people don't get, and this is just true, folks, if there is therapies and treatments, there is no justification, no constitutional justification for not only a state of emergency, there is no justification for mandates. None. There was never a population level threat. COVID was never a population level threat, ever. When people were citing 2.5 million Americans could die this year, I was like, that sucks to be them. Be healthy. You know what I mean? Like, because the data was showing it was elderly people and fat people at the very beginning. And I know that sounds so evil. I had somebody like, oh my God, you were okay with 2.5 million people dying? I wasn't okay with it, but at the same time, people fucking die. Like, the second you worry about, like, we have to like live. we could have protected them. We could have helped isolate them. We could have done so many other things besides total society. But it has to look like on purpose to most people. Like, I'm not going to say it was on purpose, but it definitely looks like we were trying to take shit. You know?
It was extremely bad. So we're at the hour mark. We have we're going to try and do this twice a week. I know that's the goal.
Yep.
This week is should be twice. We started early. We'll get you guys with a later date. Anything new for you, Alan? Anything going on?
No, I'm going to be releasing a few videos coming up on the Alan Roberts channel, which used to be the Everyday Fitness channel. We got a coaching special going on because people are fat as fuck. Like, literally, like we have a 3-month coaching special going on because, and people can check it out, Damn Collective, any of my fucking videos, because literally, dude, like, I went to a fucking grocery store the other day again for the first time in a long fucking time. People, you're fat. Like all you, like almost all of you, you're fat, like real fat. Like, we got to do something about it. Like, it's bad, dude. I'm like taken aback by it. Like, it is so bad. We're so fat. Like, we are really, 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 really fat. Yeah. That's got to stop, people. Like, you cannot be on other people about watching out for everybody's health when you're just fat as fuck. Like, and these 3 months, October, November, December, are historically when people put on 15 to 20 pounds. And that 15 to 20 pounds this year is probably going to push us into like 55% obesity. I cannot believe the Walmart. I cannot get over it. Like, I've never seen so many. How do they have that many motorized scooters places? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, it is crazy.
It's nuts. And just to parlay into that, I'm actually doing a free book for Black Friday. That's actually a diet before New Year's, because
that's awesome.
Everybody does a New Year, New You. And it's like, wait a second, dude, they could have prevented that 20-pound fat gain. So instead of gaining fat, it'll be, I'm getting it, all, nicely done. It's been edited and everything. You just got to send it over to the designers and get that done. But there's a lot going on. So we'll get it done. And, Alan, again, it's always a pleasure doing these. It's fun.
Always a pleasure, sir. Always a pleasure.
And I don't even know, like, what do I put for the topic? So I just smash the keyboard and see.
We don't do good with that. Like, I mean, but I think that we'll try. We can promise to try to hit some main topics. I think we do. I think it's just like so all over the board that people, like, I had somebody be like, you should tag the times that you talk about different shit. I'm like, there'd be 1,000 of them. Like, it's just like, it would be like that fucking long. But
yeah, I'd love to do what like Jack Murphy does and Timcast does, is where they have the different topics. But like, I mean, that'd be so hard. And taking an hour out of our day, and we have StreamYard is beautiful. It allows us to do this very seamlessly. But if StreamYard, this wouldn't happen, because literally I have StreamYard and Anchor, which are basically 2 programs that distribute. And if we didn't have those, we would be fucked, because we don't have the time to sit there and go through our bullshit. And when we get bigger, we'll hire someone to go through and somehow decipher what we're doing. But right now we have a podcast. If you want to listen to it, you better dedicate like an hour.
Yeah, you just dedicate at least an hour to just and let your mind be open to like enter the realm of ADHD.
And don't be don't be
an offended bitch.
I think we should start
for real. Like, for all this, like, I talk about the fat shit. It's not like, just so everybody knows, me and Mark have been dedicated. We have plans to help everybody try to not be fat. I don't just like dog people for it, and neither does Mark. But it's got to happen. Like, you folks are fat. It's bad. bad.
We should have like a fucking intro brought to you by Adderall.
Shit. Neither of us take it, but we'll be sponsored by it.
Yeah, we probably, I'll reach out to them today. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We will see you guys next time.